Hey everybody, it's Illy Trading. Welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. We had an amazing bearish at the end of the week, right? So it was super crazy, major sell-offs. We most recently made some recent highs on the Nasdaq. So we have here, I pulled up the weekly chart so that we can take a look at what's going on here, right? We saw we had some big green candles this previous couple. Let's see how many weeks that is. One, two, three, four, five, six, a doji, seven, eight. So we had eight bullish candles. So we have about, give or take, 8 weeks of a bit nice bull run, right? So we have this huge big red candle on the right of our most recent candle here, right? Right over here. So this currently is the weekly, so that is the week of bullish run. So one, two, three, four, five, six. Doji, meaning like we didn't know what we were doing, but we continue to rise up and make all-time highs. So we're going to drop down to the daily to take a look on what's going on a little bit better here. So recently we had price tap out at about 30,804. So if we round that down to a bank number, we're looking at 30,800 even, right? We know the banks like solid numbers, so here we are. All right. So we see that on Friday we ended red. Why do you say we ended red? We had a major sell-off. I mean, it makes complete sense, right? We have made major highs. We now need to take profits. So that is what the bank is doing. It made major sell-off profits. Now that tends to do a lot of time. It tends to do that. It just makes sense. Price is up high. All right, we got to make profits. We got to bring the price down to a better price for us to buy and buy it back up. So now the reason why I was definitely bearish is because I definitely saw a lot of stalling out on price here. So we're going to zoom in right here. Right here. Price definitely started to stall out here. So I did do an entry on NASDAQ doing a sell. I had, of course, my set limit because I never know when it's truly going to do that. So I put a set limit in for me to catch the ride down. And if it's bullish and I see a move coming up, I'm going to put a set limit also to get to catch the ride up. So here, this is the 4 hour. Okay, I like 4 hour. It gives you a bigger perspective, just like the daily. Sometimes the daily can be not enough information, but the 4 hour gives you a little bit more information. So we can also drop down to the 1 hour to see what else is going on. So we see here on Wednesday, the third, price was really starting to hit that ceiling and it wasn't really making any higher highs. All right, cool. So now that we know that we're not making higher highs, we can start looking for a sale, right? So because we did not go past, we hit the ceiling multiple times. We call that rejection. We're rejecting the previous height, the price, sorry. So we're rejecting it. So we have a huge rejection right here, right? A nice little sell off back. So then we have a little slight buy up, but there's that buy up did not quite reach this previous high, right? So I'm looking for sales now because we are not touching these previous highs. And then just by studying and doing research and just doing a lot of plays, you start to understand how the NASDAQ works. Once the NASDAQ runs, it runs. Once it sells, it sells. So now we're starting to gear up for a nice little sell here. So I had this nice little trend line here. We had multiple bounces off of it. We didn't really go too far. We were making these little bounces up, 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 and then we finally break this trend line. Cool. We break the trend line and we're looking for a good opportunity to get in. Don't it, you know, placement, a lot of times it's entry, right? We want the best entry for whatever we're trying to do, if we're doing a buy or doing a sale. So sometimes you're still waiting for that confirmation to make sure you're not assuming. So we want that extra confluence for us to make sure that our entry is great. All right, cool. So we saw we have a sell off here. So now if we're looking for any potential entries, we want to make sure that our stop loss is slightly above the recent high because we already know that the banks like to stop hunt, right? They like to take those stop losses go take it and then go the actual white ray for you to go. So we a lot of times we get burned so many times on doing that, right? So here we're making some lower highs. We're right. That's what I want to say. Lower highs. So we got here and this right here came up, but we're still not reaching any of these previous highs. Okay, great. So we know that we're looking for sales and we're just looking for the right entry for what we can do. So we have an entry here. And the reason why I really am big on market structure is because it really tells you like it gives you the plan. So we know that if we're not reaching higher highs, we're going to be looking for some lows. We're going to be looking to grab some liquidity down so that we can be able to try to run back up. So this is on the 1 hour. I kind of like the 1 hour because it weighs heavy. But if you're doing a day, if we're day trading, you're obviously going to want to be down a little bit lower, right? So let's say we were looking for our entry here. Let's go down to our 15-minute. Perfect. All right. So if we're looking at the 15-minute, because we already know that that hour was big, but this is a retest. We don't really know everything until after it happens. But that's why we have to keep it in back of our minds. Market structure. What is it telling me? If I'm not making higher highs, I'm making lower lows, right? So we're going to get in here and we're going to have our stop loss. You can have your stop loss here, depending on the points that you're really trying to do or the amount of money that you can afford to do it. um, with the NASDAQ, you can do 1 or 2 micros. You don't need to do a lot because the thing about NASDAQ is that the points run smaller, but because it runs big, you can have 5 points and still make a lot of money off of it. It just is insane to me, the price point that you can get for it. So you can put your stop loss right here. Cool. So if you enter here, we're gonna ride that bad boy all the way down. It doesn't even come near back to that high, right? So our target would have been this low here, this most recent low here for it to take it out. So if we enter here, we're going to ride this down. And this was a beautiful sell-off trade right here. Cool. If you got out here, you still made bank because profit is profit. And if you held on a little bit longer to maybe take out this low here, not a bad look. You got a low right here to take out. Why are we looking at these lows? Because we know that the previous lows have liquidity. There's a lot of stop loss, take profits here. Or I'm not take profits, but more like stop losses or set basically like people are in profit, but they want to, it kind of knocks them out of the position. All right, fine. So we have a little consolidating here. This consolidation starts about 7 o'clock, 4:45. It's Asian session. So it's typical behavior for Asian session to do a lot of consolidating because we already know if we're doing some previous research and things that Asian session really sets up the plays for London and New York. So we have money sitting right here. We have money sitting right here. So what we wait for is kind of like, okay, if you're looking for another entry, this is like London session time. This is about 2:45. So London kind of takes this point out here. Let's say you like to trade overnight, like you're up all night. This is why I like the forex. I'm sorry, I like futures and forex because it trades anytime. So if you're up at night and you want to trade and it's like quiet for you, you can do that too. If you're more during a New York session, you can trade that too. So here we have an entry that could be good. We have a nice little doji here for a reversal possible sign here. Um, and this is at 2:45, well, 3 o'clock before London open. So again, we have a doji here. We see some candles. We're not making any previous high. All right, let's go ahead and look for a position to go in. Let's say we get in here. You have your stop loss here. We're going to have a nice little beautiful sell off as well. Previous low that we're looking for is to your left. We're always looking to the left for look out the lows because if we're taking out previous lows, we're taking out the money and we're doing what we need to do. We have a nice little sell off here. Hold it down. Great. We can stop. You can put your stop loss, take profit, whatever you want. You're still in the money. So let's roll off. This is now Thursday. So we have a nice little pullback. Okay. So if you're a reversal trader, you probably this probably would have been a good candle to get in. This was Thursday about 10 a.m. during New York session. Great. So a reversal trader would have loved this. They get in here and they ride it all the way up to previous highs, right? Again, we're not making any higher highs from the bigger highs here. Market structure is telling us that we are in bearish territory. Okay, cool. Now, we also know that there's kind of like a formula going on, right? So if we start off real bearish in the beginning of the week, we probably can continue bearish or start, I'm sorry, if we start off bullish, we kind of tend to wind up continue to be bullish or we start to do a sell-off. If you start off bearish in the week, then we try to make it more of a bullish end of the week. It's a pattern. It's not always true. There's things to be mindful of when you're in trading, right? Just thinking of different pattern setups so they can go. All right, cool. So we make it to about Thursday. We're at 2 o'clock. We do a nice little 3 o'clock. We're going to do a sell off because why? We did not make any previous highs over here. It's tapping out at price point. So we had about 30,000, about 600. So again, price is stalling out. I would be looking for a sell at this point. And if I'm looking for a sell, I'm looking for my stop loss to be over here around the 30,700 area. That's a lot of points, about 100 points, but I think we can do it. Now, the problem is when we have futures, if we're doing a prop firm, we're not able to hold these overnight, right? So, this unfortunately, you will have to try to see if you can hop on. I don't know. That could be a risky trade because you want the best entry for the best win. So, but anyway, we always can just watch to see what the charts are telling us. So we have a nice, beautiful sell off here again. Beautiful. All right. I'm sure I probably got that sell off. Probably. Because I'm looking for sales. The thing is, when you start seeing that you're not getting higher highs, you're looking for sales. If you're starting to make higher highs, you're looking for a buy. All right. Again, consolidating. And this is still Asian session. All right. Now we get to about Friday. Friday is what we are setting up for the big sell off. My day. So anyway, here we go. We have a lot of consolidation. Oh yeah, I definitely was in this trade for sure because I started putting my stop loss. I think I put my stop loss around here, and then I was just waiting for continuation, right? Because we had a lot of consolidation, not making any highs anywhere. We're consolidating, and I'm just in remembering and learning things, consolidating. We're making moves. We're going to be making a move very soon. All right, cool. So we're about 6:30, end of London, going into pre-market New York. We just start to melt off like crazy, right? 9:30 candle, sell off. We have a little bit of a pullback, slight consolidation, and we just continue to sell off. And we're just selling off. So here, as you can see, some of these are my price points. These are my lines of support and area from the candle from the chart on the left. So once they go through these areas, I'm like, cool. The thing is, sometimes you may not be in the play, but your analysis, if you're hitting your targets on the charts, you're doing a good job. All right, so that was the play-by-play of what happened from Wednesday to Thursday. My previous videos, I have been bearish since the beginning of the week because I started knowing that we were making some higher highs, but we were starting to cap out on that. So that is that recap for what happened in the beginning of like what happened this past week. So let's see what's the potential of what could be happening this week coming in. So we have a huge sell off here, right? But we did not take out this low here. All right. I'm looking at this low right over here. This low is from Tuesday, May 19th. All right. It's at 28,678 or 680. Cool. So if we drop down to pump up to the 4 hour, I still like this. Because we did not take out this low or this low, I'm still kind of looking for a bullish move. Now, we have to wait to see what happens on Sunday opening, right? What we don't want to just assume that this is going on because they can still be selling off Sunday night and good morning into the Monday morning. So we don't really know. So it's kind of like a wait and see kind of situation. So if we are starting to see like create a support right here at this number at 28,763, and we start to make some more lower highs. I'm sorry. If we start to change our market structure, if we start making higher highs again, then we're going to be looking to maybe do a possible ride back up. Okay. So we want to see, technically, I could see us reaching back up to 3080 again, 3800 again. We could. We can definitely be like, because technically we didn't take out this low. So we can still technically be bullish because the big overall picture of market structure was not broken. All right. So what I will be looking for this week coming in for the Nasdaq is some nice buy ups. I will be looking for some buy ups. I will be looking for a nice buy to about this area where we have recent consolidation support here. I do not do the fib. I'm not good with it. I'm just good with looking at support and resistance. Um, so I would be looking for possible buy up to about 30,050. Yeah. Um, Definitely I would be looking for buys at this entry point. But I would really like to see how we open up Sunday. If we're going to have a gap down or if we're going to have a gap up. So that would be interesting to see. If we continue to have a gap down and sell off continue, just we're just waiting for it to finish off selling. If we are interested still in sales at that point, then we're just going to sell down until it caps out. But I do think that was a big enough sell off for us to say, okay, cool, we have enough money, so let's try to buy back up to make higher highs. I do think that Nasdaq and SPY are looking for higher highs at this point, so we can see how that goes. So for the beginning of the week, I would be looking for some buys. If we do reach up to 30,800 again, we could possibly be looking up a little slight higher to maybe a 32,280 for the next for the next run up. If not, we're going to pull back and come back down to our next support resistance area. I have that being at 2850, 530, or possibly 27,550. So we'll see how that goes. So we have those outlooks. So if we're still selling, we're going to be looking for a nice little pullback to come back down. If we're doing a bull run again, we're going to do a bull, we're going to run, and then we're just going to see what it does in this area. Are we going to keep going up to try to take out 3,800 to continue up to 32,000? We'll see. The market tells us what it wants to tell us. All right, the next one we're going to be looking at SPY. We got the same situation. All right, we're not going to do the play by play like we did with NAS. That was just a nice introduction into market structure. So let's go up to our 4 hour beautiful cell. You know, I love red. I'm like a shark. I see blood in the water, I'm going for it. So you can actually watch me chart right here. I pulled up the SPY. I decided, let's see what we can do with this. 4 hour. This is like a nice little support right here. About 7,186. I like that. We had a lot of resistance here, broke support, came back down, shot through, took out this high here. Now we're bullish. Now we're running. Boom, boom. Like it. We have a nice support around this area. All right. And we broke through and we see, as you can see, we broke right through that support. We kind of stall right here, but again, I would really love to see how we open up on Sunday. This is also a good support right here. This is like a nice consolidation zone to keep an eye at because there's a lot of going on around here, a lot of distribution going on. Uh, I'll draw a trend line for you guys since I've been doing it previously. So we're going to do a trend line like this. Make it green. All right, cool. We're going to do another support and resistance because we capped out right here. 7,636. Cool. Man, I love that chart. Again, same story with SPY. I'm looking forward to see if we're going to do continuation of a sell-off or if we're going to, if we are at support at this point. Let's pull this up a little bit for you guys. We are currently at support. See that line? So we want to see how we react to Sunday open. Are we going to go through this line and come back up? Now, if we're going through this line, of course, I'm going to buy back up, but then I'm still looking for sales because we took out previous lows. Market structure has changed from it's not completely bearish yet, but it definitely has changed from a bullish full bull to like what's going on, right? So beautiful setup. That's what I would be looking for. Same thing like I would be looking for NAS. I'm looking for the same thing for SPY. I would be looking for a slight buy up here to about the support area of 7,500 for it to come back down. But if so, if it does not take out this high, this low here, I'm looking for a buy up possibly higher to 7,630. If it takes out this low when we open, then I would be looking for a pullback to sell back down to this area of 7180. That would be my outlook for SPY. All right, let's go to gold. I have been very bearish for gold. I know my lines are crazy, but they help me kind of like visualize. All right, so we have some good areas of interest here. I am still looking for gold to be selling. The reason why I'm looking for gold to sell off is because we had a huge bounce over here and we have some 15 minutes fair value gap here and a 15-minute order block. So I do think that there are potential buyers sitting in this area, and that's because of this huge rejection candle that we have here. It took us a while to come back down here. This area was around March, the end of March. So recently we were in a lot of consolidating, right? And I hate consolidating because I have no patience. This zone right here was a lot of consolidating. We did have a nice breakthrough. Let's go right here. Right here. So we had a lot of consolidating right here. We broke through, came back up to the same area of resistance, right? And then we did not make any higher highs. We were still in the consolidation area zone. We were still kind of like hitting that ceiling. And as you can see here, I have a nice thick gold line here, which to me was major, major resistance. All right, so we have a good rejection candle here, which is signaling for me for a sell. So looking for area for a good sell for a good entry, right? So on the 4 hour, we have that rejection and we could erode this down. Now, granted, we didn't take out any of these previous lows here. So you can say, well, Illy, you usually say that it's going to be bullish. Yes, but we also know that it's also trying to make a move, but there's just not enough buying power to break through the ceiling. So because we make the move and we just did not get anywhere near this previous high, I'm still looking for a sell. I'm still looking for things to be taken out to let me know what we're doing. So again, we have a night we did not get previous to our previous nice resistance here. I'm looking for another sell entry point here, and we're going to take out this previous low. We're still trying to aim this one, but it just wasn't the setup ready just yet for it. But we did take out this low and came down here to this nice support and resistance here at 404.50. Bounce off, we go here, still not taking our previous high to the left, right? We're looking for more sales. So we're looking for the entry to get in for here, and we're going to enter and then ride this bad boy down. Now, did we come to Friday? So if we're starting to turn bearish, we are looking for a nice little sell off. Not always, but we're just learning our instruments very well. We know that when gold makes a move, gold makes a move, right? So we have a slight pullback. We do like a liquidity sweep here, and then we just take out this low and we just keep going through this support. We bounce off of this support at 4,330. Cool. Where does that leave us to the left? So somewhere there was support on this other side in this area. I'm still interested in stuff that's going on down here. I still think that there's buyers sitting here for us to actually make the move. So, what would I be looking for on Monday coming in for the new week? I would be looking for a buy up And I would be looking for the buy up to about 450, 400 and 450. Sorry. I would be looking for a nice pullback up in this area for it to sell back down to grab any buyers or liquidity or anything to actually make the move up higher. I do think that gold has did a nice little sell off to try from this previous highs. It has done a major, major move. Um, so if we're looking on a larger time frame, we still can technically be bullish. So I like to see what we're going to land because that will actually, if we're going to be doing a swing trade on anything, this will be the next couple of weeks will be telling us what we're doing. So I'm actually I'm looking for some sells again still on gold. I'm still looking for some sell areas. So I would like to see a nice pullback again and come back down. I would really like for it to start either tapping into this area to grab money and then start to like make its way for a reversal sign for us to go to the upside. Overall, if I'm doing like a long option swing or a leap or anything like this, I'm looking for bullish moves on gold. I'm looking for a nice little run up once we get the money that we need to do to make the run. So for this week coming in, I am looking for a slight pullback and then a sell off, eventual sell down to the area entrance where potential money is sitting. That's my perspective on gold. Next perspective is oil. Now, I was very bullish on oil this past week, but it did not turn out all the way for me. Looking at the 4 hour, some things around. I mean, technically, I guess I could still be bullish, but if we look at this on a larger time frame, we have a lot of consolidation technically. Let's look at the daily. So if we look at the daily on the oil, we have a lot of consolidation. This is just a large amount of consolidation. Now, looking at this on the daily, I would be looking for a sell again. But a part of me tells me that it probably should be bullish. And why I think bullish is because we had a bounce off of here. We have a pullback. It really did not sell off like everything else was doing on Friday. So I do think that this is a pullback for it to go up and take out some of these previous highs. Now, if we are bullish on oil, I am looking for it to take out these previous highs of 105, 107, 110, and even possibly hit 114 to get to 119 for a possible rounding out to a 120 on oil. So I would be very interested to see. That's the daily chart. Let's pop down to the 4 hour. I really would like to see how we open on Sunday. If we open on a gap up. Um, Oil is good for closing their gaps. So unfortunately, we do have a nice little gap here at the bottom at 80, at the 80 range. So we will see. I don't know. This one is very tricky. I mean, I still technically am very bullish on oil. Um, but we are in a huge consolidation zone too. So if we're playing this, I'm not playing anything long. If we're going to short, we're going to be doing a short short. If we're doing a long, we're doing a short long. I would not be holding anything for the swing just because of the consolidation zone that I see. I don't know which way it's really going to go. If it's going to really continue up for the bullish run for the oil, or if it's going to wind up just collapsing back down. So, but for now, if we're going to be selling, I wanted to cross over my trend line and either start taking out some previous supports up below 86.50 and possibly close this gap at around 79.91. If this does not break the trend line to go back up, I'm not holding it long. I still think we're doing consolidating. I think we're doing a lot of movement around to figure out what we're really going to do. So I would be interested for the take profits around the 104 or 100 area. That way, so you're not like shooting yourself in the foot. So that's my thought. Gold, I mean, oil, I'm kind of like, I really still want to see how it plays out. But right now in the 4 hour, it's looking a little bearish. We're not making any previous highs. But again, we're still in consolidation mode. So we took out this here, didn't take this out, but we didn't take out that. So we can just be doing a lot of micro consolidations to see what's going on. Yeah. Unfortunately, gold oil is not that clear for me, so I will be keeping my eye on it. I will be attempting to do midweek caps. So I will be looking at the chart on Wednesdays to see how we are looking. So this here is Friday going into Saturday for the how we ended the week and then how we are going to be technically starting the week. And then I would like to do recaps on Wednesday to see where we wind up being at the middle of the week. All right. So those are my perspectives currently on the futures for NASDAQ, SPY, gold, and oil. All right, you guys, you have a good one and enjoy the weekend.